Now, there are hundreds of millions of trees in the UK, but few of them as beloved, as well known as the Sycamore on Hadrians Wall. And on Wednesday night, it was felled. Police have arrested a 16-year-old boy on suspicion of criminal damage. Now, it's been a landmark for well over 200 years. The tree stood between two hills on Hadrians Wall in Northumberland National Park. For obvious reasons, it became known as the Sycamore Gap tree. Now, some online maps have already changed that name to Sycamore Stump after it was felled. Many people have fond memories of the location. Stu Meach is a photographer who took this image on a clear January night with the Milky Way visible in the background. He says he cannot understand why someone would chop it down. Heather Sutherland, she scattered her brother's ashes under the sycamore's branches and says its loss makes her feel that she is grieving all over again. Well, as well as attracting millions of tourists over the years, many of whom have captured it so spectacularly on camera. The tree was forever immortalised in a major Hollywood film. Alison Freeman can tell us more. Now, morning, Alison. I mean, it is a really, really sad day. And we heard from those comments there and all the comments from people that this tree meant so much to so many people.
Yeah, that's right, Sarah. It has been hugely emotional, and it's really sad, isn't it, looking at it, that stump with the remainder of the famous tree behind it there. There's been a huge outpouring of grief. I mean, this is essentially a crime scene now. You can see the police tape, but as you saw at the beginning there, a single flower laid by somebody, sort of in memorial for that tree, if you like. Now, we've been going around asking people and finding out how they felt about the tree and looking back at its very special and interesting history. It's been well known locally for almost 200 years, but it became world famous thanks to Hollywood. In 1991, Sycamore Gap featured in the blockbuster Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. The actor who was chased up the tree, aware of its impact.
Down! They're not playing by the rules, boy. Deer don't climb trees.
Right across the UK, there'll be people who just were really in love with that movie, and and kind of, will be sad it's gone.
But overnight on Wednesday, this icon of Northumberland, this piece of history, was cut down. Everyone who passed used to have their photo taken next to it, and its silhouette was the perfect model for the Northern Lights. The tree's untimely demise has shocked the locals and visitors alike.
It does have that element that we've lost something huge.
It filled me with immediate sense of grief.
Everybody sort of feels very bereft about it, I mean, who would do it, for goodness sake?
This is a place where people come to celebrate birthdays and proposals. People come to have poignant moments, to scatter ashes. I've already talked to numerous photographers. It's the inspiration behind art and film and poetry and so much more. And it's gone. It's been taken from us. And I have no idea why anybody would do that.
Artists and photographers were quick to talk of their sadness.
I was devastated, and I actually drove past it to have a little look to see if it was true. Because, of course, you see a story like that and you think it's fake news. But when I wandered past, I just couldn't believe the landscape had completely changed. I was actually moved to tears almost. I did nearly cry.
Really, it's just the depth of it's like someone's died. Really, it's that everybody's talking about it everywhere. So it's tragic, and it'll be missed.
But it seems all is not lost. So, is there anything that can be done at all?
It's a very healthy tree. We can see that now because of the condition of the stump. It may well regrow a coppice from the stump, and if we could nurture that, then that might be one of the best outcomes, and then we keep the tree.
Well, I'm joined now by Tony, who's the head of the National Park, and Laura, who's the operations manager at the National Trust. Tony, to you first of all, just tell us how you found out about what happened.
Well, I was on my way early yesterday morning to a meeting elsewhere in the National Park. Had a call from my team to say that the tree at Sycamore Gap here had come down overnight. And so we sent a ranger along to have a look. And within 15 minutes, we got the news that the tree had been deliberately felled. And so that very much changed the mood and changed our day yesterday.
There was a thought at first it might have been the storm, wasn't there? And then it became apparent that it was this devastating act.
Yes, and I think feeling it had come down in the storm. You know, trees are a natural thing. Trees come down in storms. We wouldn't have wanted that, but we could have accepted that much easier than the fact that it was deliberately felled.
Has a special place in people's hearts, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's part of the identity of the northeast of England. It's part of England's identity. And, you know, you can't enter a gift shop anywhere in Northumberland without seeing an image of Sycamore Gap. It's been a real inspiration to artists, to writers, to photographers. But above all, it's an inspiration to people. And a lot of people have a deep connection with this place, fond memories of this place. And I think to have lost that is the real shame here.
Concern about how it might affect the park?
Well, I'm hoping it won't affect tourism too much. We have many other beautiful things to see and places to see along Hadrians Wall within Northumberland, and you know, we're hoping people will continue to come here, and you know, we will look to the future and we look at how we can continue to make this a special place for people.
Thank you, Tony. Laura, how has the effect been felt amongst the National Trust?
I mean, as you said yourself, the outpouring of love and emotion and grief has been huge. And I think that's really affected not only those, you know, within the trust, but those who have a connection with the tree itself and beyond. You know, people come from all over the country, all over the world to this area, and the tree is a really big part of that. So it will leave a huge impact, I think.
People love trees, don't they?
People have a really deep connection with trees, and I think, if anything, this has really showed us the power that trees can have in terms of how we connect with them and how they reach out to us. You know, we plant them in memory of loved ones. They really form a backdrop to, you know, our national identity. And I think, if anything, I hope that this might have a legacy in terms of people wanting to support the places that really matter to them in terms of those landscapes and this tree in particular.
Thank you so much for joining me this morning on such a sad day. We know that a 16-year-old has been arrested in connection with the police inquiries, helping them with their inquiries, but this is still an investigation at its early stages, and police are still appealing for anyone with information to come forward. Sarah, Charlie.
Thank you to Alison there. I mean, there's a tree. I mean, it's just heartbreaking to look at, isn't it? And the response we've had, the comments that people have received, this tree meant so much to so many people.
Yeah, you're right, Sarah. It is absolutely heartbreaking looking at it now. The last time I was here, you know, it was there in all its glory, and now it really has been cut down in its prime. There's a lot of shock and disbelief. I mean, as you can see, it's now a crime scene. There's police tape on the floor and a single flower has been left, you know, much as if somebody was grieving for something. We've been out and about chatting to people in the area about how they feel about what's happened and looking back at the history of this very special tree. But overnight on Wednesday, this icon of Northumberland, this piece of history, was cut down. Everyone who passed used to have their photo taken next to it, and its silhouette was the perfect model for the Northern Lights. The tree's untimely demise has shocked the locals and visitors alike.
It does have that element that we've lost something huge.
It filled me with immediate sense of grief.
Everybody sort of feels very bereft about it, you know. I mean, who would do it, for goodness sake?
This is a place where people come to celebrate birthdays and proposals. People come to have poignant moments, to scatter ashes. I've already talked to numerous photographers. It's the inspiration behind art and film and poetry and so much more. And it's gone. It's been taken from us. And I have no idea why anybody would do that.
Artists and photographers were quick to talk of their sadness.
I was devastated, and I actually drove past it to have a little look to see if it was true. Because of course you see a story like that and you think it's fake news, but when I wandered past, I just couldn't believe the landscape had completely changed. I was actually moved to tears almost. I did nearly cry.
Really, it's just the depth of it's like someone's died. Really, it's that, you know, everybody's talking about it everywhere. So it's tragic and it'll be missed.
But it seems all is not lost. So is there anything that can be done at all?
It's a very healthy tree. We can see that now because of the condition of the stump. It may well regrow a coppice from the stump, and if we could nurture that, then that might be one of the best outcomes, and then we keep the tree.
Well, I'm joined now by two people who this tree was incredibly special to. Ian, you're a local photographer, yeah. And Diana, the High Sheriff of Northumberland. Starting with you, Ian, good morning. Tell me, what was it you loved about this tree?
Everything, absolutely everything. The symmetry of where it sat in the landscape, You know, the fact that the tree was smack bang in the centre of it. It was facing due north, so whenever the northern lights kicked off, you could see the magical colours behind it. It was just a really sacred place to come, you know, somewhere you could just chill and get away from real life.
Now, I know you were among the first here yesterday. Yeah. How did you feel at that point?
To be honest with you, like the first moment when I seen the tree, it was like anger set in. You know, it was really like a real feeling of anger. Like, why would anybody do this? And then the sadness crept in. I mean, I just sat and had a moment. You know, I was thinking, it's really sad that nobody's going to be able to kind of witness the beauty that this place had. You know, it's kind of lost. Well, to me, it's lost the heart of the northeast. You know, like one of the hearts of Northumberland's gone.
You will have met many people taking photos here. Yeah. Was it special? Describe how special it was to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a photographer's paradise, really. You know, I mean, when you've got two hills that are pretty much symmetrical either side of an object, and then you've got a perfect, beautiful tree sitting in the middle, and then, you know, the starry nights that come, and the sunsets, and everything about it is just beautiful. You couldn't get a bad picture when you come here.
We've had 4 seasons in one day this morning. We've got bright sunshine now. It was awful earlier. Yeah. Do you think that was the beauty of this? It sums up Northumberland here, doesn't
100%,
it?
Yeah, you get all 4 seasons in one day. Absolutely. Yeah.
How do you feel about not having it as a subject anymore?
It's really sad. Do you know, I had the same feeling I have normally when I drive up to the place this morning. I drove up and I got in my car and I had that same feeling of excitement. Oh, I'm going to Sycamore Gap. I'm going to have a bit of a chill, you know, get away from real life. And I thought, oh, no way, it's not there anymore. And it was kind of a weird feeling that it wasn't going to be there when I got here. Yeah. So yeah, it's
truly heartbreaking.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
We're going to have a quick chat now with Diana. Diana, just tell me, you're the Sheriff of Northumberland. What does it mean to the people?
Well, I think it was an emblem of Northumberland. It was magnificent, it was beautiful, it was natural. And doesn't that sum up our Northumberland countryside? And we are so lucky to live here. But it's going to be a huge loss to everybody. I was in Hexham yesterday and talking to so many people, and even people who'd never actually been here were sad about its loss because they felt it represented Northumberland, it represented them. And I think there's a lot of anger and a lot of upset throughout the county.
First time you've seen it? Is that this morning?
It is the first time I've seen it in reality. Obviously, I've seen a lot of pictures in the press, but to see it here now it's deeply upsetting. It's heartbreaking.
We know people have scattered ashes here. You know, that's how important it has been in people's lives.
Absolutely, and whether we can create something out of the wood for people to come and remember the tree and remember their loved ones, I don't know, but maybe.
Thank you so much for you both joining us here today on this incredibly sad day. Now, just to update you on the police investigation, a 16-year-old boy has been arrested and is helping them with their inquiries. But in the meantime, obviously the investigation goes on. And, you know, here are some photos just to remind people of what the tree looked like in its full glory.